Hi, this is Dr. Terry again. Uh, this is chapter 3 of my series of 5 called The Unhappy Retail Pharmacist. This is called Struggling in a Retail Chain Pharmacy, chapter 3. And let's just jump right into it. This picture may look familiar to a lot of you who are pharmacists, which I suspect of those who are watching it, probably a lot of you are. And this is not an uncommon emotion expressed in this picture. But let's just jump ahead from chapter 2 to 2010, 4 years ago. I call that the winds changed, or the winds have changed. Right now there are about 67,000 pharmacies in the United States. At least at that point in time there were. There's more than that now. There are more than half of those pharmacies are located within drugstores, which is not surprising. But they're also in grocery stores, hospitals, even department stores, medical and surgery clinics, universities, nursing homes, prisons, and other facilities. Now, we're going to just look at the top 25 chain pharmacy stores. Represent about 28,000 pharmacy locations, and they employ about 46,000 staff pharmacists. So California, Texas, New York, Florida, and Pennsylvania are the top 5 locations. Walgreens, as you may know already, is the largest of those 4 chains, with 10,000, about 578 pharmacists, and about 5,274 stores. Also, what you probably guessed is CVS is the second largest, with 10,151 pharmacists and 66,288 stores. So they have fewer pharmacists but more stores. I'll come back to that in a minute. Walmart is number 3 in size, with 6,358 pharmacists and 3,646. It's about a 1-to-1 ratio. Target is number 6, and that has about 1,400 pharmacists and about 1,000 stores. So if you calculate the average number of pharmacists per store, Walgreens comes out on top with an average, and I stress these are averages, of 2 pharmacists per store. Walmart falls behind, but with 1.7, CVS is 1.6, and Target is 1.4. You know, it's interesting if you look at the data that CVS and Target have fewer pharmacists per store compared to Walgreens. And it's also interesting that CVS and Target have far more unhappy pharmacists than Walgreens. So just looking at numbers and ratios, Walgreens looks like the best location of all the 25, at least on the large level. You know, although all 4 chains had pharmacist staff complaints, it still falls out that CVS and Target had the greatest percentage of unhappy pharmacists. Now, Why is that? Well, let's go here. We're working long hours and weekends or holidays in a bustling and demanding retail chain pharmacy. I just want to tell you a little personal story about one of my friends who was a pharmacist, and I won't mention the name of the chain, but it's a well-known retail chain in Nevada, and it's one of the top three in the United States. I interviewed her one evening on the telephone. Here is the essence of what she told me, and these are direct quotes. She said, "I'm too busy to read journals. I can't keep up with the literature. I could have a nanny and work at home at the same time compared to having a nanny and working at the store. Since the younger people don't have to worry about going home early or late, they don't have the problems that I have." This lady's in her mid-40s approximately. Her friend Graciela, also in Nevada, told her, "Look, I'm working full time. Doing that, I can be a mediocre mom and a mediocre pharmacist. I have to pay my loan off, usually $100,000 to $200,000 with most pharmacists. I'm too busy to keep up on journals. My kids are waiting for me when I get home. I'm going to tell my friends and children not to go into pharmacy." Here's an example of their schedules. This is right from them. They work 2 weeks and weekends, 106 hours or more in a row. There is a floating regular schedule every 2 weeks. Therefore, they would be off on the third weekend. These are real numbers, folks. They go into work early to open up and frequently stay 1 to 2 hours after closing to clean up, particularly if there's a pharmacy manager or the lead pharmacist. Also, she has had to become an insurance expert to deal with the many available plans. There are so many, unbelievable number. And when the insurance company denies coverage of a drug, guess what? She suffers the wrath of the angry and abusive customer who blames her for the denial by the insurance company. This is very, very common. Or the pharmacy may not stock an infrequently prescribed and very expensive drug that happens to be the favorite drug of a GP, and he or she prescribes it often. But it has to be ordered, which means the physician and the patient are upset because of that, because of the wait. But I mean, that's not all. They have all the following responsibilities, especially in fall and winter. They now have to administer flu shots, Zostavax, which is a shingles virus vaccination, hepatitis, pertussis, and pneumonia vaccines in the store. They do health testing using blood and urine tests and basic metabolic index calculations. They do diabetes counseling. The technicians can't do these things. This is just added on to the pharmacist's workload in addition to filling prescriptions, dealing with patients and insurance companies, and counseling the patient. So it's most important to realize that this is the amount of concentrated work you have to do. You can't do it in the time allotted, or at least can't do it well in the time allotted. These are typical complaints nowadays. All those I just listed off. Now, in my blog, I've recorded several caricatures of a real pharmacist's life, and I've listed them and right here. And on my blog, all you have to do is click on them. I mean, you have to laugh at them, but not really laugh. There's even an Elmo prank call, which is supposedly funny, but you probably won't find it funny if you're the one that's involved. But take a look at them. There's actually a recording by a person who I believe is a pharmacy student. Um, they're very interesting and they're short. But let's go a little bit further into the subject and read and listen to what a pharmacist, a PharmD. He's also owner and founder at a place called Fire Horse Wellness. His name is he goes by Dr. Phil, but his name is Dr. Phil Hopkins. He's a PharmD. He said, in my experience, pharmacists are unhappy because they are allowed to be lulled into apathy by a large paycheck, while their basic legal rights, such as uninterrupted lunch breaks and lack of staffing, etc., were sacrificed in the name of Operation Metrics that would make Domino's and McDonald's executives blush. And out of fear for their jobs, they refuse to stand up to medically unlicensed and untrained management staff who take no fall if something goes wrong. The greater horror is the growing certainty that our nation's state boards of pharmacy have become corporate lapdogs rather than the protectors of our profession and the professionals they license. Currently, the latter take the fall because it's easier than telling a corporation their operational model is unsafe and must change. They don't tell them that. They're afraid to lose their job. So this is what's happening, folks. This is current stuff. But I want to just mention one thing here about I haven't really shown you this, but I want to, if you say, who is Dr. Terry? Well, I'm going to give you a little bit more information right here. So I want to try and click here. And let's see what happens. It should bring up another site. There we go. Now let me enlarge the screen here. Or let me move it over anyway. There we go. And this is my website. It's called morethandrugs.com. Okay, and if you click on that, if you go to that and click on the page called My Long History, you will see this page, and you'll see my mugshot there. And it's a long history, but it's a short write-up. So how I went from PharmD to MD and then a PhD, and I was a neurologist. I am a neurologist, followed by intolerance of academic politics, and eventually taking my practice, private consulting practice, in clinical and then going into forensic neurology. It's a long saga, and it's much more detailed than this. Not always a happy time, but that's what I did. I also along the way when I was in academics, I got an MBA, a Master of Business Administration, just to top it off. So I was a professional student, but I was also a professional. But that's my history on that. So let's go back, if we can, to the website here. Here we go. And we're going to jump down back. Here we go. So the next chapter is entitled Old Life or New Life. Here I'm going to start offering you, or having you at least consider changing your life into something that's more enjoyable and still provide for all of the things that you need to, like your family, loan debt, mortgages, etc. It's a difficult life, but it is possible. So that's the next one coming up in chapter 4. And I also want to just remind you again, please leave a comment. I need and I thrive on comments for improvement, particularly. Um, I want constructive comments, of course. Um, so I would appreciate those very much. And thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate you listening. Thank you very much. Bye.